You can start, Nana.
Okay. Om. 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 ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं चैव ततो जयमुदीरयेत् अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता
Shall I chant this chapter, Nana?
Okay. अथ अष्टमोऽध्यायः. Can you chant from the beginning?
Yes, I will.
And stop just before the last verse.
Okay. अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता अष्टमोऽध्यायः अक्षरब्रह्मयोगः अर्जुन उवाच किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मं किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमा अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम् अधिदैवं किमुच्यते अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन प्रयाणकाले च कथं ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः श्रीभगवानुवाच अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं स्वद्भावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते भूतभावोद्भवकरः विसर्गः कर्मसङ्गितः अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम् अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र देहे देहभृतां वरा अन्तकाले च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरं यः प्रयाति समद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावं त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरं तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय सदा सद्भावभावितः तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु मामनुस्मर युध्य च मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः अभ्यासयोगयुक्तेन चेतसा नान्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थानुचिन्तयन् कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम् अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपं आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् प्रयाणकाले मनसाचलेन भक्त्या युक्तो योगबलेन चैव भ्रुवोर्मध्ये प्राणमावेश्य सम्यक् सतं परं पुरुषमुपैति दिव्यम् यदक्षरं वेदविदो वदन्ति विशन्ति यद्यतयो वीतरागाः यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण प्रवक्ष्ये सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणाम् ओमित्येकाक्षरं ब्रह्म व्याहरन् मामनुस्मरन् यः प्रयाति त्यजन् देहं स याति परमां गतिम् अनन्यचेताः सततं यो मां स्मरति नित्यशः तस्याहं सुलभः पार्थ नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिनः मामुपेत्य पुनर्जन्म दुःखालयमशाश्वतं नाप्नुवन्ति महात्मानः संसिद्धिं परमां गताः आब्रह्मभुवनान् लोकाः पुनरावर्तिनोऽर्जुन मामुपेत्य तु कौन्तेय पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते सहस्रयुगपर्यन्तम् अहर्यद्ब्रह्मणो विदुः रात्रिं युगसहस्रान्तं तेहोरात्रविदो जनाः अव्यक्ताद्व्यक्तयः सर्वाः प्रभवत्यहरागमे रात्र्यागमे प्रलीयन्ते तत्रैवाव्यक्तसंज्ञके भूतग्रामः स एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमे वशः पार्थ प्रभवत्यहरागमे परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः परस्तस्मात्तु भावोऽन्यः अव्यक्तो व्यक्तात् सनातनः यस्य सर्वेषु भूतेषु नश्यत्सु न विनश्यति अव्यक्तोऽक्षर इत्युक्तः तस्माहुः परमां गतिं यं प्राप्य न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम पुरुषः स परः पार्थ भक्त्या लभ्यस्त्वनन्यया यस्यान्तस्थानि भूतानि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् यत्र काले त्वनावृत्तिः आवृत्तिं चैव योगिनः प्रयाता यान्ति तं कालं वक्ष्यामि भरतर्षभा अग्निर्ज्योतिरः शुक्लः षण्मासा उत्तरायणं तत्र प्रयाता गच्छन्ति ब्रह्मविदो जनाः धूमो रात्रिस्तथा कृष्णः षण्मासा दक्षिणायनं तत्र चान्द्रमसं ज्योतिः योगी प्राप्य निवर्तते शुक्लकृष्णे गति ह्येते जगतः शाश्वते मते एकया यात्यनावृत्तिः अन्यया वर्तते पुनः नैते सृति पार्थ जानन् योगी मुह्यति कश्चन तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु योगयुक्तो भवार्जुना वेदेषु यज्ञेषु तपस्सु चैव दानेषु यत् पुण्यफलं प्रदिष्टं यत्येति तत्सर्वमिदं विदित्वा योगी परं स्थानमुपैति चाद्यम्.
Hari Om. That was the last one. Okay.
Oh, that was the last one. Sorry, I didn't know the
Okay,
last.
don't worry. Okay. Now, any doubts regarding the chapter thus far covered? If there are any doubts, we will cover that and go forward.
No, there are no doubts so far.
No doubts. Okay. So we will quickly run from 21st verse till the end. Okay. Avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya nanivartante tadhama paramam mama avyaktaha aksharaha iti uktaha tam ahuhu paramam gatim. That is said to be the paramam gati. Yam prapya, having obtained which nanivartante, there is no punarjanma, nanivartante tadhama paramam mama. That abode of mine is very supreme. That is what is mentioned. Now next verse. Purusha saparapadha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. That Purushaha saparaha partha bhaktya labhyastvananyaya. He is obtainable through ananya bhakti. Yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Yasya antasthani bhutani. See, he is there as the indweller of everybody. Antasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. And by whom everything is here pervaded. Entire Jagat is pervaded. Yasyantasthani bhutani. Then Purusha is the limitless, but can be gained by a devotion in which there is no other. He is the one in whom all the beings have their being, the one by whom all this is pervaded. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha prayata yantitam kalam bhakshyami bharatarshabha. I am going to reveal to you that kind of a kalam, that kind of a path, going by which people either have to return or they need not return, that kind of a thing. People means what? Yoginaha. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim cheva yoginaha. Yoginaha is mentioned here. Yoginaha means people who have progressed to a great extent in the yoga abhyasa. And in the penultimate sloka of this chapter, again the same yoginaha is mentioned, but I believe that yoginaha is not an ordinary yogi. He is supposed to be a wise person. Yeah, next verse. Agni ahaha shuklaha shanmasa uttarayanam tatra prayata gachanti brahma vido janaha. Brahma vido janaha, people who have done the sagunopasana. Brahma vido janaha, people who have done the sagunopasana, they are the yogis. They are set to reach the Brahmaloka, and from where they will not return. Agni Jyoti Rahaha Shuklaha, in this path, in the path where Agni is there, the Jyoti is there, the daytime is there, Shukla Paksham is there, okay? And the Uttarayana Punyakalam. Uttarayana Punyakalam happens to be the daytime of the Devas. Tatra prayata gachanti, at that time, and in those conditions, tatra prayata gachanti, people who leave their bodies at that time, they gachanti, they go Brahmalokam, Brahma vido janaha, people who have done the Sagunopasana thus far. Where, in which path? The god of fire or time, the god of light or time, the god of day, the god of the fortnight, the waxing moon, the god of the 6 months of the sun's travel towards north are present. Departing there, through that path, meditate as a Brahma, go to Brahmaloka. Here the path, etc. is mentioned. Here, Agnihi, Jyotihi, Ahaha, Shuklaha, all these are supposed to be presided by deities. Deities. Like our sense organs are presided by deities. Our mind is presided by deity. Buddhi is presided by deity. What is the deity of the mind?
The moon, Chandraha.
Huh?
Chandra.
Chandra. Correct. And for Buddhi, Brahma. Like that. So all these deities are there. Those deities, and in that path, if you go, this is what is set to happen to them. Okay. Dhumo ratris tadha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayana. And this is relevant to yogis, not to ordinary people. Dhumo ratris tadha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayana Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Dhumaha Ratrihi. Dhumaha, we know, smoke. Ratrihi Tadha Krishnaha. Krishnaha is what? Krishna Paksham. Okay. Then Shanmasa Dakshinayanam. This is the night time of the Devas. Dakshinayana Punyakalam. And this Dakshinayana Punyakalam is supposed to be very, very, very important for a lot of religious activities. Right? And this is supposed to be very good for the Piturs. And if you recollect, in the Dakshinayana Punyakalam only, most of the Hindu
Festivals.
Punyatithis will occur. All those festivals, they occur in the Dakshinayana Punyakalam, most of them, not so many in the Uttarayana Punyakalam. That is how Dakshinayana also is considered very good. Though it is a Ratri for the Devas, it is supposed to be very good for doing religious activities. Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate. Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogi Prapya Nivartate. He will, that kind of a yogi who departs at these times during those paths with those presiding deities taking care of the path, he is expected to return. Whereas that Agni Jyotihi Ahaha Shuklaha, he is expected to be taught by Brahmaji, and from there he will graduate to moksha. Okay, that is called Kramamukti. Whereas this fellow will have to come back and restart all over. The yogi traveling by the route where the presiding deity of smoke, the god of night, the god of the dark fortnight, god of 6 months, when the sun is traveling southward, having gained the world, the moon returns. Okay, next verse.
Is there a deeper meaning to this? Because does it really matter if when a person dies, if as long as he's a yogi and he's on the path, how does
Actually,
it matter
even,
whether he dies in the Uttarayanam or Dakshinayana?
no, your question will be answered by the penultimate sloka of this chapter.
Okay.
Okay, it certainly will be answered.
Nanaji.
No, in simple terms, it does not matter. It does not matter to the wise person. To other persons, it as though matters. For you and I, who are not even yogis, I'm sorry I'm saying this, who are not even yogis, it simply does not matter at all. It does not apply. Because these two verses apply to yogis. who are trying to be yogis. Okay? Right. Next verse. Shukla Krishne gati hete jagata shashvate mate ekaya yati avrittim anyaya avartate punaha. Ekaya yati anavrittim, sorry. Ekaya yati anavrittim. Anavrittim means there is no return. Ekaya yati anavrittim anyaya avartate punaha. By the other path, they will return. Okay. He, as is well known, Jagataha in this world, Ete Gati, these two paths, these two margas, Shukla Krishna Gati Hete, bright and dark, okay, paths. Shashvate Mate, these are supposed to be eternal. Eternal is relatively eternal. Relatively eternal as long as the Jagat lasts. When the Jagat avyaktat vyaktaya sarve prabhavatya haragame, when the Jagat vanishes into avyaktam, then this eternal this thing is just relative. Till then it is eternal. Ekaya, traveling by the one, anavrittim yati, there is no return. One goes to a place of no return. Anyaya, by the other path, avartate punaha, again, punaha, again, avartate, returns. As is well known, these two paths of the world, the bright and the dark, are considered eternal. This eternal is relative. Like Mother Ganges is supposed to be eternal. How long? As long as the earth lasts. Is it not? And earth will last as long as the Jagat lasts, suppose. And Jagat will last till when? Till the Pralaya Kala.
Pralaya happens.
Correct. Correct. See, all these will be very easy to understand if we are very sound in the fundamentals. Sound in the fundamentals like in the Tattva Bodha, Brahmachraya Maya, Maya Sattva Rajastamo Gunatmika. These are the fundamentals. These are unviolable fundamentals. It is not as though because Tattva Bodha said, and this is a very small book that can be kept aside, we will concentrate on the Gita. No, Gita cannot say anything which is against the fundamentals. Ete Shruti, this is the verse, Brahmara, which I said will answer your question. Nete Shruti Pardhajanan Yogi Muhyati Kasyana Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Yoga Yukto Bhavajana. Nete Shruti Pardhajanan. He Pardha, Arjuna, Kasyana Yogi, a yogi, Ete Shruti, these two paths, okay? Janan, knowing, Namuhyati, he is not deluded. Tasmat, hey Arjuna, Sarveshu Kaleshu, at all times, Yoga Yuktaha, be united with Yoga, Bhava. Knowing these two paths, O Partha, can you please lift this? Oh, knowing these two paths, O Partha, a yogi is not deluded. Therefore, at all times, may you be united to Yoga, Arjuna. Why these two paths, yogi knowing does not get deluded? Because this yogi is supposed to be a wise person, not an ordinary yogi. Okay? That is what that PDF commentary of Swamiji will reveal to you very nicely. You would please go through that carefully. Knowing these two paths, Partha, yogi is not deluded. Therefore, at all times, may you be united to yoga. The substance of this is the Shukla Krishna Gati Hete is what? It is through karma or through jnana. It is through karma, isn't it? that yogi has been doing some kind of a karma, and he happens to drop his body during the
Uttarayana.
Shukla Paksha, suppose. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete. Those 5 or 6 qualified deities will be leading you on the path to a loka,
Brahmaloka.
is Brahmaloka, and there you will prostrate to Brahmadeva, who will teach you Atma Bodha, and you will be gaining Krama Mukti, you will be gaining moksha. Okay, that gaining moksha is a, a, a wrong way of mentioning. You will discover yourself again. May you be. Okay, you will be, you will realize that you are none other than Paramatma. Knowing these two paths, that's why. So Shukla Krishna Gati Hete. Those two gatis are because of karma, isn't it? And the real yogi, who is a very wise man, he knows the Vedanta Vakya. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena, chage naike, amrutatva manashuhu. That amrutatvam is derivable only through ahankara chaga. And when that happens, it is dawn of knowledge. Arunenaiva bodhena purvam santamase hrute tata avirbhavedatma swayameva amshumaniva. This in the Atma Bodha we have seen. Arunenaiva bodhena. In the twilight hours of the early morning, even before you have seen the sun, there is light. And that light is Aruna light. That is the foreteller that the Surya Deva is ascending. Arune naiva bodhena purvam sam tamase hrute. That tamasa goes away. Ajnana goes away. And when that ajnana goes away, tataha avirbhavedatma swayameva amshumaniva. That then Atma avirbhavet, as though it takes birth. As though it takes birth, because it has been there all the time. Only you did not know. That is what Shastra says. Knowing these two paths, this wise person, he is not deluded by the effect or the paths, the deities of all these two paths. He is not deluded. Therefore, at all times, may you be united to yoga, Arjuna. Not only that, Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam acheti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanamupaiti chajyam. Vedeshu, in Vedas, yajneshu, in the yajnas. In the Vedeshu means this is the karma kanda portion of the Veda. Vedeshu, yajneshu, in the yajnas and yagas, what you do. Then tapassu chaiva, in the various penances that you undertake, tapas. Okay? Daneshu, in the various charitable activities that you undertake, daneshu, yet whatever punya phalam pratishtam, whatever punya phalam is said to be existing, atyeti, he will cross over that. He will go even beyond that. Okay? Like a lot of people are very, very very favorably use that word transcend. Okay? Very favorably or inappropriately use that word transcend. This yogi, acheti, he will transcend tat sarvamidam viditva. Tat sarvam idam viditva. Sarvamidam viditva is what? That this is only through karma, etc. And jnanat evata kaivalyam. iti jnanena veti. Tatsarvam idam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chajyam. He will attain to the supreme sthanam. And supreme sthanam is what? That he is indeed the Paramatma. Jivatma Paramatmayoho aikyam bhavati. Vedeshu
Nanaji,
yajneshu
I was under the impression that liberation is possible only in the human form in the Bhuloka.
What is that?
So I was under the impression that liberation is possible only in the human form in the Bhuloka. That's why we are born again and again in this world. Now, now you're saying that you reach Brahmaloka and you get Brahma's guidance for liberation. Is that what it is?
That is called Kramamukti, and people who go to Brahmaloka are expected not to return. That is what the Gita Shastra says. Etra kale avrittim cheva yoginaha. That was mentioned, isn't it? Etra kale tu anavritti. It is the power of that deity. It is the power of that kala. It is the power of the various strenuous activities as a yogi he has undertaken. With that, he will go. And he will go where? For him to go, he has to have a body to go, isn't it? So he will have the appropriate body to go to Brahmaloka and then be a Shishya to Brahmadeva and will be taught. And she understand this. He will be taught and the teaching will reveal to him the jnanam, which is very important. With that jnanam, he will realize he is none other than Paramatma, jnana. And for him, though he has gone away from Bhuloka, he will have a body to be available at the Brahmaloka. Right?
Okay.
Right.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
So the journey, I suppose, will end only in Brahmaloka then.
Journey will
The
end only in
realization of
Brahmaloka. That Bhuloka Yatra will end only in Brahmaloka.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got it. Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu deva. See, in all this, one thing fundamentally we should not forget, and we should not have any distorted view of the whole thing. There is no way through any type of karma that you will be liberated. There is no way. Na karmana, na prajaya, dhanena. Karma yoga anushtanam is a karma or not a karma?
It's a karma.
It is a karma, but that itself will not liberate you. But that will prepare your mind to be appropriately available for absorbing the jnanam. And the jnanam only will liberate. Jnanateva tu kaivalyam.
Okay.
Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate. There is nothing more purifying than jnanam. And more purifying is required for the mind. Shastra says you are the mind. You are the mind plus ajnanam. You are not jiva. Jiva is the appellation given to you. You are indeed Paramatma. But jnanatevatu kaivalyam. That kevala swabhavaha, that you are indeed kevalaha Paramatma, will be available to you through jnanam.
Jai Gurudev.
Okay. And any other activity, however very strenuous, however very strong the activity may be, however very disciplined the activity may be, that cannot liberate you. That will only prepare you for the steps of the higher. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pratishtam achyeti, transcend. A lot of people use transcend inappropriately. Why I said that is because a lot of people say you have to transcend the mind to know yourself. This is very funny. When you transcend the mind, with what do you know yourself? With what do you know that you are indeed Atma? With what? You can't be you can't be transcending the mind, which is the very means for you to know who you are. You can't relegate the mind to the background, put it in the dustbin, and then go forward, try to know who you are. It is impossible. That is why the transcend is kind of abused by a lot of people. You have to transcend the mind. Impossible. When you transcend the mind, you are a mindless person. You are a mindless person. In the Chandogya Upanishad, okay, I'm sorry, I'm digressing. In the Chandogya Upanishad, there is a chapter in which the sense organs, the mind, the buddhi, the prana, all these things make a kind of a conclave and they will have a meet. And the sense organs, they say, like for instance, the eye says, I am the greatest. Without me, you don't even look at the Jagat. Then the other sense organs, mind and the intellect, they simply laugh it off. When they laugh it off, the sense organ eyes gets annoyed and leaves. When the deity of the eyes leaves the body, then what happens? The body keeps on continuing. The body has mind, intellect. The body is only an Andaha body, like Dhritarashtra. Her body continues. Then the Netra realizes that it is not all that powerful and comes back. Then the rest of the four sense organs also threaten like that and go away. Like the ear, the deity of the ear goes away, and then the body continues as a deaf person, so on and so forth. And finally, the mind says, I am the greatest. I will go away. When this happens, buddhi and prana will be as though smiling to themselves. Mind goes away, and this person continues as a dullard, as a mindless person, Okay. Then the intellect says, I am the greatest, not you, the mind. I am the greatest. And intellect goes away. When the intellect goes away, this person continues living as a mudha, a highly deluded and non-comprehending, a person who does not have any discrimination, etc. Then the prana, this is the zenith. The prana says, hey, none of you are supreme. I am the most supreme. Just see, when I leave, what all will happen to you. Then the prana says, I am leaving. Just when it disappears, then the body drops. When the body drops, there is no mind, there is no intellect, there are no sense organs. What I'm saying is, when the actual prana, the jivatvam, that goes away, nothing is available. Like that, when you transcend the mind, the very means of your having to comprehend who you are, if that is absent, how will you ever know yourself? That is why I get upset reading some commentaries saying you have to transcend the mind. Transcend the mind is what? If it is mentioned from the point of view of transcend the dirty mind and catch the pure mind with which you go forward. If that is said, that is appropriate. Transcend the mind is very funny. Okay.
Nanaji,
Huh?
Nanaji, people who are in the body and get enlightened, are they? Do they not get moksha when they are like alive?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Achha.
That is the meaning of Jivan Muktaha. Even though living, he is a Mukta Purushaha. We have picked it up, madam, in the Tattvabodha.
Yes.
Jivan
No.
Muktaha Kaha.
So these are the two ways a person can get liberated.
Which are the two ways?
Going
Not
to
the Shukla
Brahmaloka.
Krishna. No. That is Krama Mukti. That is different. What I am saying, now you are talking of Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta, even while living, he is a Mukta Purusha. He lives because of his Prarabdha Vashat. Because his Prarabdha has not yet exhausted. He has to honor that Prarabdha and he lives. He lives means his body is not dropped. He is a Jnani. Yatha Dehoham. Trying to recollect what we have picked up in Tattvabodha. Yatha Dehoham. What does it say? Yatha Dehoham, etc., etc. Naham Dehaha. Natu Chitswarupaha. Anandarupaha. Sarvantaryami. Iti Drudhanischyavan Jivan Muktaha. That Drudhanischyavan Jivan Muktaha. Like I have been deluded into believing I am the body, I am the mind, I am the sense organs, I am this, I am the avasthas. Iti, I have been believing with Drudhanishchaya, the same Drudhanishchaya. I have come to declare I am none of those. I am Satchitananda Swarupaha, Chidananda Rupaha, Paramatmayeti. Iti Drudhanishchayavan Jivan Muktaha. He is a Jivan Muktaha. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
A lot of great people, they happen to be Jivan Mukta for our benefit. Because if the Jivan Muktas are not there, you don't have appropriate gurus. You got my point? Those people, while living, after being liberated, they will be of tremendous benefit to mankind. Okay. No.
Thank you.
Om Tat Sat. Hey Brahmara, your question was answered by the penultimate sloka and this sloka?
Yeah. For them,
Okay.
this does not really matter. That is what it's mentioned, right?
It does not really matter. And you know what? Very funnily, a lot of people equate these punyakalas, Uttarayana punyakala, Dakshinayana punyakala, etc. Whenever there is any demise in the family, good thing that he passed away in the Uttarayana punyakalam. It doesn't matter. What they're saying is that person who passed away is an ordinary person, not even a yogi, not even a yogi who can qualify to any of these two paths. Not the yogi who is a wise man. The yogi who is a wise man does not really care about these two paths because he knows these two paths are based on karma, and he knows that karma does not liberate. Om Tat Sat. Iti Srimad
But then
Mahabharate.
why did Bhagwan mention these two paths in the first place?
Why did Bhagavan mention these two paths?
When it doesn't
Because
really matter.
it does not really matter for the wise person. For the yogis, it does matter. For people who have really traveled a long distance during the yoga, karma yoga, anushtana, dhyana, and contemplation, etc. But you remember in the 6th chapter, Arjuna asks a question, Ayatihi Shraddhayopeto Yogachalita Manasaha Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim. What is the Yoga Samsiddhi? Moksha eva. Aprapya, not having obtained moksha. Aprapya Yoga Samsiddhim Kamgatim Krishna Gacchati. To
He
take
talks
care
of
of
yoga
that.
brashtas, no?
Yeah, correct.
So this is all yoga brashtas. The
This is
yoga.
correct. Correct.
So a yoga brashta is one who's on the path but has not attained the goal yet.
Correct.
So if he passes
Very
on
well.
in the Uttarayanam, he goes to Brahmaloka. But if he passes on in the Dakshinayanam, he returns. Is
He
that what
returns.
Bhagavan is saying?
Yes. Yes, yes.
So then it does.
Dakshinayinam, when he returns, you know what happens to him? Athava yoginame vakule bhavati dhimatam. Shuchinam shematam gehe yoga prashto bijayate. These two are mentioned by Bhagavan.
Right.
That person who goes by the Dhumayana, okay, Krishna Paksha, etc., he returns. When he returns, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Vijayate. Athava Yoginameva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam.
So then
These two janmas are possible for him,
Hmm.
depending on to what extent he has been successful before he dropped his body. That is how. Okay.
So then this does have some significance for people on the path.
Ah,
This has some significance. We
there is some
not,
significance for those people who have been yoganishtaha.
Yoga Nishtas.
They may have become yoga brashtaha towards the end of their life, but that was not of their making. It was the making of the prarabdha. They could not help. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it does not, wait a minute, it does not apply to ordinary people. Ordinary people, no matter whether they go through the Agni Jyotihi Hashuklaha, Shanmasa Uttarayanam, or Dhumo Ratri Tadha Krishnaha, Shanmasa Dakshinayanam. It does not matter. No matter when they pass away, these are not applicable to such people. What happens to them? Okay. God only knows.
So
Okay.
at the extremes, it doesn't matter. It's only for those in the middle. It matters.
Yes, yes. Extremes doesn't matter, but the top extreme, it does not matter with knowledge.
Correct. That is true.
The bottom extreme, it's tamasic, tamasic kind of. Some more janmas they will have to run through. Om Tat Sat iti Sriman Mahabharate Shatasahasrikayam Samhitayam Vayasikhyam Srimad Bhagavad Gita Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Akshara Brahma Yogo Nama Ashtamodhyayaha. Now we are committed to go through the Gita Mahatyam. Okay? This Gita Mahatyam, for the sake of brevity, there are two Gita Mahatyams, like I said. I will run through the smaller Gita Mahatyam, if you people permit me. Right? Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yapatet Praitapuman. This Gita Mahatyam starts without Dharovacha. Who has asked this and who has said this is not clearly known. But the earlier, the longer Gita Mahatyam Dharovacha, then Vishnu Ruvacha. Okay? This, what I am reading, is not available to you in the PDF form which Dr. Brahmara is trying to project. It is not available there. Gita Shastramidam Punyam Yappatet Praita Puman Vishnoho Padamavapnoti Bhaya Shokadi Vajjitaha Gita Jayana Shilasya Pranayama Parasya Cha Naiva Santihi Papani Purvajanma Krutani Cha Mala Nirmochanam Pumsam Jalasnanam Dine Dine Sakrit Gitam Bhasi Snanam Samsara Malanashanam Gita Sugita Kartavya Kimanyaihi Shastra Vistaraihi Ya Swayam Padmanabhasya Mukha Padmatvinishkrutaha Bharatamrita Sarvaswam Vishnoho Vaktradvinishrutam Gita Gangodakam Pitva Punadjanmana Vidyate Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogdha Gopalanandanaha Padho Vatsaha Sudhid Bhokta Dugdham Gitamrutam Mahat Ekam Shastram Devaki Putra Gitam Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva Eko Mantraha Tasya Namani Yani Karmapyekam Tasya Devasya Seva. This is the shorter version of Gita Mahatmyam which I have in my text. Now we are on to the 9th chapter. 9th chapter is what? 9th chapter is Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. We have just about a few minutes. We will open that chapter. Then we will cover that tomorrow, right? Atha Navamodhyayaha. Would somebody like to read about some 7-8 verses for which we have time? Yeah, don't worry, I'll read. Shri Bhagavanuvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyamyanasuyave.
I can read, Nana. Sorry.
Okay. Jnanam vijnana sahitam
Sahitam
yajnatva mokshashaya shubhat. Yeah.
Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam Ashraddadhana Purushaha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina matsthani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha nacha matsthani bhutani pashya me yogamaishwaram bhutabhranna cha bhutastho mamatma bhutabhavanaha यथाकाशस्थितो नित्यं वायुः सर्वत्र गोमहान् तथा सर्वाणि भूतानि मत्स्थानीत्युपधारय सर्वभूतानि कौन्तेय प्रकृतिं यान्ति मामिकां कल्पक्षये पुनस्तानि कल्पादौ विसृजाम्यहम् प्रकृतिं स्वामवष्टभ्य विसृजामि पुनः पुनः भूतग्राममिमं कृत्स्नम् अवशं प्रकृतेर्वशात् न च मां तानि कर्माणि निबध्नन्ति धनञ्जय उदासीनवदासीनम् असक्तं तेषु कर्मसु मयाध्यक्षेण प्रकृतिः सूयते सचराचरम् हेतुनानेव कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते अवजानन्ति मां मूढाः मानुषीं तनुमाश्रितं परं भावमजानन्तो मम भूतमहेश्वरम् मोघाशा मोघकर्माणो मोघज्ञानाविचेतसः राक्षसीमासुरीं चैव प्रकृतिं मोहिनीं श्रिताः महात्मानस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रिताः भजत्यनन्यमनसो ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम् सततं कीर्तयन्तो मां यतन्तश्च दृढव्रताः नमस्यन्तश्च मां भक्त्या नित्ययुक्ता उपासते ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वधाहमहमौषधम् मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यम् अहमग्निरहं हुतम् पिताहमस्य जगतः माता धाता पितामहः वेद्यं पवित्रमोङ्कारः ऋक्सामयजुरेव च गतिर्भक्ता प्रभुः साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवः प्रलयस्थानं निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहमहं वर्षं मृत्सृजामि च अमृतं चैव मृत्सृश्च सदसच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैविद्या मां सोमपाः पूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्टा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अश्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान् ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम्.
Hari Om. Yeah, good. Very well chanted. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana padyupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This is one of the Gita verses which is generally chanted by a lot of people. Like karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That is another verse. Then this is a verse which is generally available in on the tongues of well-meaning households. Ananyas chintayanto mam yejana padyupasate. And such other verses were manmana bhavam mat bhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. Then another verse is sarvadharman parityajya. All these kind of about a dozen verses are there, which are generally available in the households of Shuchinam Gehe. Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham.
Yogakshemam Vahamyam is the motto, I think, of the theme line for LIC.
Correct. Whatever you have been striving for and you have obtained, that is yogam. And whatever you are doing to keep that intact, that is kshemam. This yogam kshemam aham vahami. I will take care of ensuring that these are protected. Tesham nitya abhiyuktanam. That is important. Nitya abhiyuktanam. Ananyas chintayantaha. whoever, without any other thought, always think of me. Ananyaha chintayanto mam ejanaha parjupasate. Whoever will worship me, tesham, those nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. This is a tremendous promise. Manmana bhava madbhaktaha madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. These are the tremendous promises made by Bhagavan, and he has, if you consider the pages of history and pages of the lives of Mahatmas, he has confirmed to the promises all the time. So why not we gain some mileage of this promise? That's it. We'll continue this chapter. It's a wonderful chapter. Incidentally, my innings in the Gita was started with this chapter. When I was very small in Bangalore, Swami Chinmayananda was conducting a Gita Jnana Yajna, and at that time he has covered this 9th chapter. And all those days I had gone there. And that was the beginning of my Gita life. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. See you all tomorrow.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, Nana. Thank you.
धन्यवाद नाना जी. हरि ओम.